Hello everyone and welcome to my B&B Fan Club channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Ridge Forrester led a life sewn together by secrets and silken lies in the shadowy corners of Los Angeles, where the glamour of Hollywood faded into the roughness of forgotten alleys. He was the patriarch of the Forrester dynasty, a name that conjured up images of fashion empires and fortunes founded on dreams. Ridge, tall and broad-shouldered, with silver threads running through his dark hair like warnings from time, had always believed his world was ordered. His wife Brooke, his kids Thorne and Rick, and his never-ending battles for control. But beyond that mask, fissures had formed long ago, the result of a single wild night 25 years before. It was 2000, a year when the globe appeared to spin faster, and Ridge, at the height of his energy, had wandered into a charity dinner at the Beverly Wilshire. The event was for orphan children, a cause Brooke supported, but she was in Paris looking for materials. Ridge went alone, nursing a scotch and scouring the room for distractions rather than donors. That's when he noticed her. Her name was Dana. Dana Ellis was a young volunteer with stormy eyes and hair that cascaded like midnight rivers. She was 22 years old, fresh out of community college, and volunteering to get out of the poverty that clung to her like damp fog from the docks where her fisherman father drowned years before. Their gazes met across the dance floor. She giggled at something a child said, her smile cutting through the sadness on her young face. Ridge approached, charming as ever, and presented a donation check with a flourish. "For the kids," he replied, his stare lingering. Dana reddened, unaccustomed to guys like him, who exuded strength like fragrance. They talked for hours, as the gala faded into a private realm. She related her losses. Her father died at sea, her mother died of cancer, and her siblings were dispersed like leaves in the wind. He recounted his marital troubles, including the never-ending tug-of-war with Brooke. One dance led to another, followed by a clandestine kiss in the garden, and by morning, they were in his hotel suite, bodies entwined in a frenzy of forgotten promises. Morning arrived with regret. Ridge snuck away before she awoke, leaving a letter and a check that may change her life. "For your future," it stated. Dana didn't call the number he left. She could not. Months later, she learned she was pregnant. Terrified and alone, she relocated to a modest apartment in Echo Park, scraping by on casual work. The boy arrived on a rainy October night, screaming into the world with fists clenched as if he already knew what lay ahead. She named him Deacon after her father's old deacon buddy, who preached hope in the face of sadness. But life was harsh. Dana's health deteriorated. The disease that had killed her mother now gnawed at her. By the time Deacon was 5, she had left him in foster homes that chewed him up and spit him out. Deacon developed into a man forged in fire, tall and menacing, with Ridge's piercing blue eyes and a jawline that could cut glass. He meandered among bars and petty crimes, constantly seeking a sense of belonging. He married a woman named Jackie and had a daughter named Hope, but everything disintegrated under his anger. Divorce, custody fights, and now at age 25, he was back in Los Angeles, tending bar at Il Giardino, serving drinks to the elite while nursing his own anger. He had no notion about his bloodline. Deacon Sharp assumed his father was the unnamed sailor Dana had briefly loved before her death. That's what the faded letter in her possession said. A falsehood she wrote to shield him from rejection. Ridge, on the other hand, had dug deeply that night. Brooke had no more children after Rick, and his life revolved around boardroom conflicts, fashion presentations, and an endless cycle of love and sorrow with Brooke. They divorced and remarried so often that it became folklore. But fate, the merciless puppeteer, had different intentions. It began with a DNA test. Hope, Deacon's daughter, was critically ill, a rare blood condition necessitating a transplant. Desperate, Jackie pushed for family matches. Deacon gave, but it wasn't enough. They tested extended relatives. Ridge, being the family man, gave his blood for Hope's sake. "Anything for Logan," he added, using Brooke's nickname. The results were released on a Tuesday afternoon, October 21, 2025. Ridge sat in his Forrester Creations office, sunlight slanting through the blinds like gold knives. Dr. Lee, the hematologist, called personally. "Mr. Forrester, the paternity match. It's conclusive. Deacon Sharp is your biological son. 99.9%. Ridge let go of the phone. The entire globe tilted. Horrified, he staggered to the window, peering upon the metropolis that had borne his empire, and now his demise. Deacon. Ridge detested that rough-edged bartender, the man who had argued with him about Brooke, who had schemed and stolen. What about his son? The implications rolled in like waves. The battles, the betrayals, the times Ridge called him scum. And Hope, his granddaughter. The horror turned into an abyss of grief. How could he have left them? Dana's face flashed, her vulnerability and his selfishness. Ridge went to Il Giardino that evening, hands trembling behind the wheel. The bar was dim with jazz playing low. Deacon cleaned his glasses, flexed his tattooed arms, and smirked with lips that resembled Ridge's. "Forrester," Deacon remarked. "Slumming it." Ridge swallowed. "Deacon, we need to talk." Deacon laughed. "About what?" "Your latest divorce from my ex-mother-in-law," Ridge asked, sliding the DNA report across the bar. Deacon's eyes scanned it, his smirk turning to perplexity and finally rage. "What the hell is this?" "You're my son," Ridge said, his voice shaking. "Biological. From 2000. Your mother, Dana." Deacon's face wrinkled. He grabbed Ridge's collar and slammed him against the bar. "Liar. My mom said. She lied to protect you." Ridge's eyes welled up. "I left her that night. I was a coward. Punches flew. Glass broke. Patrons fled." Deacon slumped and sobbed. "Why? Why tell me now?" "Hope. She's my granddaughter. And I can't live with the lie anymore." Since that shattering moment, their worlds unraveled in a tapestry of grief, each strand pulling tighter and drawing blood. Deacon moved into the Forrester guest home, like a reluctant prince in a pretentious palace. Ridge tried so hard. Awkward dinners where Thorne scoffed, Rick stared, and Brooke cried. "My son," she would say, holding Deacon, yet her eyes were filled with pity. Deacon drank more and lashed out. "You think a DNA strand can fix 25 years of nothing?" Ridge had the worst nights. He strolled around the stately hallways plagued by visions. Dana's laughter, the child's wail he had never heard. He fantasized about different lives. Rearing Deacon, instructing him to sketch designs, and watching him lead Hope down aisles. Instead, he noticed foster scars on Deacon's back, needle prints from adolescent disobedience, and the mugshot from that bar brawl at 18. Hope's transplant was successful, and her cheeks regained color. She called Ridge Grandpa, placing her small hand in his. Joy flashed but was poisoned. Deacon watched jealous. "You got the hero edit after ditching us?" They sat by the pool one evening amid starless skies. Deacon smoked a cigarette. Ridge's voice trembled as he said, "Tell me about her." "Mom. She was light. In a dark room. We danced, laughed. I was escaping Brooke's drama. Promised her the world, gave her scraps." Deacon exhaled smoke as if grieving. "She died alone. Cancer. I was 7. Found her cold. Foster said I screamed for days." Ridge hit his face. "I'm sorry. God, I'm so sorry." But the apologies were ash. Deacon spiraled. He seduced Ridge's daughter, Steffi, in a vengeful haze, turning the brother-sister taboo into a nightmare. Steffi, pregnant, miscarried in anguish. "Your blood's cursed," she yelled at Deacon. He retreated to the bottle, then the tablets. Ridge discovered him overdosed at daybreak, blue-lipped and with a feeble pulse. Hospital beeps and the stomach is pumped. "Fight, son," Ridge implored. "For Hope." Deacon woke up angry. "Don't call me son. You made me do this." Rehab was followed by a relapse. Ridge spent millions on therapy, but money couldn't heal souls. Brooke tried to bridge. "He's like you, Ridge. Proud, broken." But her love suffocated. Deacon shoved her away and into Eric's arms again. Winter arrived and rains lashed Los Angeles. Like tears. Hope's school play featured her as an angel. Deacon pledged to arrive sober. Ridge waited in the audience, heart racing. There's an empty seat beside him. Backstage panic. Hope's wings drooped. Deacon arrived late and smelled bad. "Traffic," he lied. Hope hugged him but noticed the slur. She whimpered, "Daddy, please." That night, Deacon drove inebriated. Crash on Mulholland Drive. His car was wrecked and he was ejected. Coma. Ridge was at the bedside, clutching a hand that mirrored his. Wake up. I need you. The weeks blurred. Machines hummed dirge. Hope sketched images of the complete family. Brooke prayed. Thorn arrived once cold. Karma. Deacon awoke, tubes slithering. Dreamed of her. He rasped. Mom. Said forgive. But forgiveness was a phantom. Physical therapy. His legs were damaged and he limped. Hope pushed his wheelchair and sang. We fix you, Daddy. Ridge sold designs to fund care, and the empire crumbled. The board removed him temporarily. Family first, he explained. Spring bloomed delicately. Deacon produced basic sketches of edgy gowns. Ridge mentored with tears in his eyes. Talent like mine. The first show included the premiere of Deacon's line. Hope is modeled and dazzling. There was thunderous applause. Backstage embrace. Proud son. But the delight was shattered. Dana's birthday marks the anniversary of her death. Deacon went to the burial, which was next to Ridge. Rain saturated them. She loved you, Deacon explained. I waited for you. Ridge knelt dirty. I failed her. You. Deacon's voice trembled. We both lost. A summer hot. I hope it's a beach day. Deacon, propped up by his cane, gazed from the shore. The wave pulled her under. Panic. Deacon dove, ancient wound screaming. I saved her but she fainted, her heart seizing. Hospital again. Aortic rupture. Physicians explained. Ridge grabbed him and said, from crash stress. Don't leave. Deacon said faintly. Tell Hope. I love her. And you, Dad. Finally. The monitors went blank. Ridge wailed and the world ended. Funeral. Forrester pews are full. Hope gripped Ridge's hand. Why, Grandpa? Because life is sad, he mumbled. Mourning engraved Ridge indelible. He elevated Hope's gaze, creating a triple generation echo. Designs poured grief. Deacon's legacy line, black silks and silver tears. Years have passed. Hope grew, married and gave birth to Beth. Ridge, aged, gazed from the porch. The ghost of Deacon sat alongside them. Worth it? The ghost inquired. Ridge nodded. Every heartbreak. But at night horror stayed. Discovery's curse. The truth comes too late. True parenthood is a dagger. A sad and unique story. Blood bonded, souls sundered. And love's late flowering in sorrow's garden. Brooke contacted him early, her voice tight and shaking. Ridge, we need to talk, she remarked. He detected fear in her tone, rather than wrath or grief. Ridge recognized that sound. Brooke only spoke in that manner when the past came knocking. He went to her Bel Air home, expecting another debate about Deacon, about how much time Hope allowed him to spend with the family, and about how Deacon was constantly lurking just close enough to cause turmoil. However, when Brooke opened the door, her face was pallid. She had been crying. The woman who could captivate the world with her smile now appeared to be carrying a secret so weighty that it took her breath away. Ridge, she whispered. It's about Deke. The name struck him like a slow, perplexing wave. Deke Sharp. Deacon's son. Ridge had tolerated and, at times, even liked the youngster. Deke was strong-willed, ambitious, and possibly a little lost. A reflection of Deacon's charm and recklessness. But what could possibly make Brooke feel that way about Deacon's son? What about him? Ridge inquired, coming closer. She turned away and wrapped her arms around herself. He deserves to know the truth. You both do. What truth, Brooke? His patience had frayed. He despised riddles and the fact that Brooke withheld something from him, because every secret between them was a never-ending wound. She turned, tears in her eyes. Ridge, Deke is not Deacon's son. He's yours. Ridge held his breath for an extended period of time. The space felt smaller, like if the air had turned into glass. He stared at her, waiting for her to return it, to claim it was a mistake, a wild mix-up. However, she didn't. Say that again, he said. Her voice cracked. You're Deke's biological father. The words hit him like shards. Ridge moved back, his thoughts racing. Images flashed. Brooke years ago, crying after another quarrel. Deacon lurking in the shadows, that twisted moment when everything between them blurred between love, rage, and betrayal. He remembered their brief separation, the one night Brooke came to him distraught, telling him she'd made mistakes she couldn't fix. He'd assumed she meant Deacon. He had forgiven her. He never asked questions he did not want the answers to. All of the answers were now available, and they were killing him. "Brooke," he whispered softly, "you led me to assume that boy belonged to Deacon. You let me all these years." "I didn't know," she said, crying. "I promise, Ridge, I did not know for sure. Everything was fairly close in time. When I discovered I was pregnant, I assumed it was Deacon's. I didn't even consider until recently." "What changed?" "Deke had a medical scare a few weeks ago," she explained, wiping her cheeks. "Something genetic. The doctors inquired about family history. Deacon was tested and nothing matched. They believed there was a mistake. But I had a test done. A paternity test." Ridge's throat clenched. "So you didn't tell me?" Brooke muttered. "I wanted to, but I didn't know how. You and Deacon were finally on good terms. I did not want to damage it. I did not want to destroy Deke." "Destroy him?" Ridge's voice cracked, disbelief and rage combining into something visceral. "How about me, Brooke? You devastated me. You let me to stare at that boy for years, thinking he was another man's son when he was—" He paused, grief strangling him. Brooke reached for him, but Ridge backed away. "Don't," he responded abruptly. "Don't touch me." She lowered her hand. "I thought I was protecting you." Ridge laughed bitterly. "No, you were defending yourself." He walked away before she could finish speaking. Ridge struggled to concentrate for the next 2 days. He didn't tell anyone, not his father, Steffi, or even Hope. He kept repeating all of his memories of Deke. The youngster looked up to him in quiet moments. Ridge had shown him how to sketch designs. Ridge dismissed Deke's mannerisms as coincidences. They felt like clues he should have seen a long time ago. Meanwhile, Deacon realized something was awry. He cornered Brooke at Il Giardino one afternoon, and his usual confident swagger faded. "What's happening with Ridge?" he demanded. "He's been avoiding me, and Deke claims you've been acting strange." Brooke paused. "Deacon, maybe it's not my place." He firmly grasped her wrist. "Do not do that. Do not keep me in the dark. If this is about my son—" "Your son," Brooke said quietly, "isn't your son." Deacon was stunned. The words did not register at first. He chuckled with surprise. "What are you talking about?" She told him everything. Deacon's face turned white by the time she was finished. He leaned back into his chair and stared into space. "You're saying Ridge Forrester is Deke's father? Are you sure?" She nodded, tears gleaming. Deacon slumped back, his breath sounding more like a groan. "You've got to be kidding me," he said. "That kid was always mine in every aspect that mattered. I reared him. I taught him. I was there for him when no one else was." He gazed at Brooke with flaming eyes. "And you kept it from me?" "I didn't know," she said quietly again. But Deacon stopped listening. He stood up and walked away, his heart falling into itself. That night, he went to find Ridge. They met in Ridge's office, the air thick with years of animosity, jealousy, and the confusing love they both still felt for Brooke. "Is this true?" Deacon asked quietly. Ridge did not look up from the sketchbook in his hands. "You already know what it is." For a long time neither guy talked. The city lights glimmered through the glass, revealing a world unconcerned with broken families or bloodlines. Deacon's voice cracked first. "Do you know what it's like to assume a child is yours? To battle for him, to make mistakes, to try again, to finally feel like you did something right, only to have it taken away?" Ridge closed his eyes. "Do you think this is easy for me? I did not ask for this. I had no idea." "Yeah, but now you know," Deacon replied. "So what are you planning to do? March into Deke's life and reveal the truth? Do you think he will just start calling you Dad?" Ridge looked up, wrath flaring in his eyes. "He deserves to know the truth." "Maybe," Deacon replied softly, "but the truth can destroy people. You, Brooke, and I are used to it." "That boy isn't." Ridge leaned in. "I can't lie to him." Deacon clenched his jaw. "Then just wait till I tell him. He deserves to hear it from me." Ridge eyed him for a while before nodding. "You're correct. He does." When Deke arrived that evening, summoned by Deacon to the same office, he had no idea what awaited him. He smiled with that crooked grin that reminded Ridge so much of himself it hurt. Hey, what's happening? You both appear to have seen ghosts. Deacon couldn't speak at first. His hands trembled. Finally, he added, Son, I have something to tell you. Something you should know about yourself. He choked on the word son. Deke frowned, puzzled. Dad, you're scaring me. This isn't easy, Deacon replied, his voice quivering. You realize how much I adore you, right? That will never change. But you are not my biological son, Deke said, blinking. What? Brooke appeared in the doorway, her face filled with silent weeping. Ridge stood behind her with an empty gaze. Deacon continued, his words stinging harder. There was an error. A long time ago. Your mother believed I was your father. Turns out I wasn't. Deke looked between Deacon, Brooke, and Ridge. The entire globe tilted. Then who? His eyes widened when they arrived at Ridge. No, he muttered. No way. Ridge's voice was quiet. It's true. Deke fell back, his heart hammering. You? You are my father? After so many years. You allowed me to think. He turned to Brooke. You made me think my father was someone else? Brooke wept. I did not know, sweetie. I promise I didn't. But Deke was unable to hear her. He gazed at Deacon's eyes, which were wet with pain. You're my dad, Deke yelled, his voice breaking. You are the one who reared me. You are the one who was there. I don't care what the test says. Deacon nodded, holding back tears. I understand, youngster. I know. Ridge approached. Deke, I wasn't sure either. But now that I know, I want to be a part of your life. You're my son, Deke said, his surprise mixed with rage. You can't just say that and make it true. I'm not trying to replace Deacon, Ridge stated gently. I just want to get to know you. Deke shook his head. I don't even know who I am anymore. He exited, slamming the door behind him. The sound rang like thunder. Over the next few weeks, everything went apart. Deke stopped speaking to everyone. He left town, finding a modest job up north and attempting to disappear. Ridge attempted to call out and send messages, but received no response. Brooke felt guilty, replaying every decision that had led to here. Deacon drowned his sorrows in whiskey, blaming himself for not being enough. One night, Ridge discovered Deacon sitting alone in Il Giardino after hours. The bar was dark except for a flickering candle between them. Is there any word from him? Ridge asked. Deacon shakes his head. No. He does not want either of us. Ridge sat down. He'll come around, Deacon said with a sour smile. You don't understand it. He has no idea who he is anymore. You snatched it from him. We both did, Ridge said softly. I didn't want this. Neither did I, Deacon replied. But that kid deserved better than both of us. They sat silently for a while. Two men united by love, sorrow, and a son who no longer belonged to either. Months later, Deke returned, not to forgive but to confront them. He'd become quieter and older. Ridge froze as he walked into Forrester Creations. Brooke was also there with crimson eyes. I don't hate you, Deke replied simply. Any one of you. I just wanted some time. Ridge gulped hard. Deke looked at Deacon and said, I understand. You are still my dad. That will not alter. Deacon grinned weakly. Good. Because I couldn't bear losing you entirely. Deke then turned to face Ridge. I'm not sure how to be your son. Ridge's eyes welled up as he pondered what this meant. That's all I could ask. Brooke grieved silently as she watched them. The two men she'd loved the most, and the son who held both of their hearts. The truth had shattered them, but perhaps in its own broken way, it had given them the opportunity to construct something true. Ridge stood by the window and watched Deke leave. The sun dipped low, painting the sky gold once more. Just like the morning it all began. Ridge did not feel powerful or proud this time, however. He simply felt human, flawed, yearning, and glad for a second opportunity he did not deserve. Because the truth cannot always set you free. It just shows you how deeply you were already tied by love, by mistakes, and by the people you can never stop caring about, no matter how much it hurts. Ridge, Deacon, and Brooke saw the anguish as the cost of loving someone enough to finally confront the reality.